The IMI is supporting National Apprenticeship Week because we believe massively in apprenticeships, and it's anything that actually raises the profile and gets people talking about apprenticeships and gets employers and prospective employees and their parents engaged has got to be a good thing. So we're right behind it, and we'll do everything we can to support that initiative. Apprenticeships are vital to the UK economy because, first of all, we have to give young people more than one route forward for their future career. University is right for some and higher education, but apprenticeships are a fantastic alternative and don't preclude you from going into higher education later on. But the key thing is, we have virtually 20% of 16 to 24-year-olds unemployed. And apprenticeships are a fantastic way of getting those people into work. So it's really important for the employment situation in this country. The role of apprenticeships in the automotive sector, as in any other sector, it's about bringing new, fresh talent into the business. I think, it's patently obvious, and if I talk specifically about the auto sector, it's patently obvious that everyone can't rely on everybody else to create the talent. We have an ongoing demand for people, and particularly in the technical, in all disciplines, but just taking the technical disciplines as an example, technology races forward at an ever increasing pace, and for those of us who work with apprentices, we know that when you bring young people in, they're more receptive to that new technology. But, growing your own is the best way, by far and away the best way, to make sure that you've got the talent that you need for the future. So people have to sort of think forward, and it's not just about what you need for today. And apprentices are a good investment, a very, very good investment. Over the last 2 years, the IMI has undertaken probably the most extensive investigation into the return on investment from apprentices that's ever been undertaken. It's a 2-year piece of work involving lots of different employers and involving 30 real apprentices, looking very closely at their productivity data, the costs, the investment that the employers make, and basically working out exactly what the kind of payback is. And it's been not surprising in one sense, because we always knew that apprentices were a good investment, but actually it's been surprising in the sense that the level of payback is perhaps higher than most people would expect. And also the speed of that payback. I think we've always worked over the years on this sort of rule of thumb that sort of says over the course of their apprenticeship, an apprentice will be sort of roughly 25, 50 and then 75% productive. Actually, that's not how it is at all. What we have is a sort of an S-curve where it takes a little bit longer for them to find their feet, but once they do, their development rate is much quicker than was expected. So a well-recruited apprentice who's properly cared for and mentored by his employer can return up to a 300% payback over a 3-year period, and well within 2 years can more than have reached the break-even point. So they make great sense. And then of course at the end of it you've got a highly talented person who's been trained by you. I would say to anybody considering hiring an apprentice, stop considering, do it. The IMI's ROI study will show you that you will get a fantastic payback. And actually, as a business, you're in charge of your own destiny and you need to plan for the future. And apprentices will be a big part of the future of your business, and you will never regret making that investment. Apprenticeships are a start into an industry, but where you can go from there is that really there's no limit, particularly in a sector like ours, which is a meritocracy anyway. Good people always have the opportunity to get on. I've got some favourite stories. I think many people have. I mean, let's not forget that the biggest dealer group in this country, which is Pendragon, is run by 2 former apprentices, Trevor Finn and Martin Casher. I myself have employed apprentices who've gone on to do fantastic things. One that I'm particularly proud of, but not exclusively this one, is a chap who I employed about 25 years ago, who is now who went on to become the head of Mini in Europe, and has now just taken over the Chinese region as the head of Mini, and he's still only in his early 40s, so he will go on to much bigger and much greater things. but he started as an apprentice. And I have many more examples like that, and I know other people do. So I think for parents particularly, because quite often parents are the influencing factor in what their children choose and in terms of their children's aspirations. It must be obvious that because we've seen it over recent times that going to university is not the only route to take. And if parents are worried about where their children might end up or what sort of careers they might have, well, this is a fantastic way to start a career. It'll never be a disadvantage having started as an apprentice. Doesn't preclude anybody going on to higher education later anyway. But it does preclude you from taking on student debt, it's a very, very sensible route to take.